Welcome back to Von Blues Boxing, man. What's going on with everybody? So, I wanted to give my predictions and thoughts for Canelo Alvarez versus Dmitry Bivol for, I believe, what is it, the WBA 175-pound title this Saturday, May 7th, Cinco de Mayo weekend. Canelo usually fights during that time, during those weekends and stuff of that nature. He fights during that time. And, Mexican Independence Day during, September 13th, whenever that falls on or that week falls on, he tends to fight around that time. Finds to always fight that. So Canelo is coming off, becoming 4-belt undisputed champion, 168 pounds, being the first man at 168 pounds to do that. So Canelo is taking, here he is going for another title at 175 pounds because he had won the WBO against Sergey Kovalev. So here he is, taking on one of the best 175 pounders, number one, number two, no matter where you got him, between him and Artur Beterbiev. And and so here's Canelo jumping up weight, taking on this challenge. So this is a really good fight. I think everybody knows it's a pretty good fight. Good matchup, man. Good challenge for Canelo Alvarez to take on a bigger, stronger, I don't know about stronger, but a bigger guy, higher weight class, one of the best dudes in the division. And, Canelo is just showing us how boxers should go by it. Now granted, Canelo got the money already. That makes it a whole lot easier, already having the dollar signs and the fame and the fortune. So it makes it easier for him to go take on these challenges at times. But he is showing other fighters, hey man, this is the way you do it. The money will come if you go after your legacy. But I do understand fighters want to get paid, though. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know how long you got in the sport of boxing. So I get that aspect. But I love what Canelo is doing. No matter what you feel about him, that's just how boxing is. Fighters, like the top level fighters I've noticed in boxing, are always going to take some kind of form of, it's going to be one side that loves him and one side that don't. You know what I'm saying? One side that thinks he's doing great things, one side that doesn't. That's just how boxing is in general. So this and him, but excuse me, my bad. I'm over stumbling on my words. But, Dmitry Bivol, we know about Dmitry Bivol. Dmitry Bivol he's a pretty good fighter, man. He's done some good things at 175. He beat Joe Smith, who's fighting Artur Beterbiev in a unification bout at 175 pounds later this year. I think it's this summer or later this year. So you got that fight, and he's beat Craig Richards, who's a pretty good fighter, who's fighting Joshua Buatsi, I believe. I forgot what day it is. He's fighting him May or June. Buatsi and Craig Richards. He's beat Leonard Castillo. Dmitry Bivol's got some good opponents at 175 on his list. But this was a big opportunity for him. This is a big opportunity to put his name on the world stage. If he could defeat a guy like Canelo Alvarez, man, sky's the limit for him. You know what I'm saying? It would just, he would retain his title, but just beating Canelo and beating somebody on the pound for pound list, arguably number one on the pound for pound list, that'll be huge for his career, And the thing is, Dmitry Bivol, he's a smart fighter. He's a master of distance. He really does that well. He has good combination punches. Very intelligent fighter, smart dude, good pedigree, good basics, and he's a good fighter. He's well-rounded, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that sticks out to me about Dmitry Bivol is, in this fight, can he keep Canelo at the end of his punches and keep that distance? Where he can work, where he works comfortably at. Because that's where he works best at, is when he can keep the distance. You know what I'm saying? He can keep that distance in that range. He can dictate the pace of how the fight goes. And Dmitry Bivol does that better than anybody in boxing. But the thing is with Canelo is it just seemed over time Canelo has learned to deal with different styles. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like he's seen everything. So he's not, it's like now it seems like with Canelo, it's just not too many, it's not any style that he can't beat. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, if you're a come forward pressure fighter, he can beat you at that. If you like to stick and groove and move, and things of that nature, hit and don't get hit, swim with don't get wet, that type of style, he can beat you at that. Or if you're a boxer puncher, a guy who likes to put pressure on but also will box and, fighting, he can beat you at that too. It just seemed like he's seen everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's the question that comes in this fight. People are gonna, some people are gonna say, does Dmitry Bivol have enough power to keep off him? I just think it comes down to, can he dictate the pace of the fight? And what is he going to do when Canelo Alvarez starts to, you know what I'm saying, up the pressure and up the ante, you know, because Canelo seems to take the first couple of rounds and kind of figure out what you're doing. I don't think he's really a slow starter. I just think Canelo he kind of figure out, he want to see how you moving when he fakes this way. He want to see when he fakes with the punch, or when he throws his punch, which direction you trying to circle out, or how you blocking, or what type of counter punch opportunities you looking for. You know, he seems to, you know, and that's the thing I worry about. Can Dmitry Bivol win enough rounds to pull out this fight? And the thing is, I just don't know. You know what I'm saying? I think Bivol's a very talented fighter. It just seemed like Canelo's just gotten to that point from 168 pounds to 175 pounds. It's just going to be kind of hard to beat him. Not saying he can't lose. He could lose to Dmitry Bivol on Saturday. But I just think Canelo just has seen everything, and I just think he got enough skill set and the boxing IQ and defense to beat Dmitry Bivol. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going with Canelo Alvarez this fight. I think Canelo will win a decision. You know what I'm saying? I think Dmitry Bivol will win rounds in this fight. I don't think he's going, you know, I think he'll win some rounds. I don't think it's just he's going to just get washed. But I just think if Canelo, I just think Canelo eventually will figure it out. He'll eventually figure out how to negate Dmitry Bivol, keeping that distance and, taking that away from Dmitry Bivol. I think he's going to, take away the distance. I think it's going to come in the later rounds. You're going to start to see Canelo start to land his shots, and I just think he'll win a decision. I think it'll be a pretty good fight. I'm thinking 8-4 Canelo. You know what I'm saying? 8-4. I think he will win. But, I also wouldn't be shocked if Bivol pulled it off, because Bivol is a good fighter. Dmitry Bivol is a good fighter. And so I wouldn't be shocked if he pulled it off. But I just think Canelo got enough to pull this off. And so I'm going with Canelo Alvarez. I think he'll get the 8-4 unanimous decision. And he'll move on. And, maybe in September he'll fight Triple G. Or maybe it might be the winner of Bertaviev and Joe Smith. We'll see. But, yeah, that's my predictions. Unanimous decision, Canelo Alvarez. I think it'll be interesting in the earlier rounds. I think Bivol will win some rounds, but I think Canelo will eventually make the adjustments and he'll get the win. So that's my predictions for Canelo Alvarez and Dmitry Bivol, man. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Von Blues Boxing. Don't miss it. May 7th, DAZN pay-per-view. I'm out.